These are the 1981 GMC RTSs. The first RTSs of New York City Transit. Now their fleet numbers range from 1201 to 1658, while the MaBSTOA fleet numbers range from 2201 to 2579. Now let's go to the list of depots that got New York City's first RTSs. This is going to be quite a list, so here we go. So 1201 to 1219, along with 1240 to 1259, were delivered to, believe it or not, those were delivered to East New York Depot, while 1220 to 1229 were delivered to Flatbush Depot. 1230 to 1239 were delivered to Fifth Avenue Depot, present-day Jackie Gleason Depot, while 1260 to 1266 were delivered to Fresh Pond Depot. Now many can and will argue that 1201 to 1219 were delivered to Fifth Avenue Depot to the blue in the face, but nope, they were delivered to East New York Depot. Anyway, 1267 to 1272 were delivered to Flushing Depot, present-day Casey Stengel Depot. This is proof that Casey Stengel Depot did have RTSs at one point. Anyway, 1273 to 1275 were delivered to Jamaica Depot. 1276 to 1282 were delivered to Queens Village Depot, while 1283 to 1287 were delivered to 126th Street Depot, which was closed in January of this year, while 1288 to 1297 were delivered to Yukon Depot in Staten Island. 1298 to 1317 were delivered to Castleton Depot. I'm not 100% sure about this, so if you guys know, please feel free to hit me up. Anyway, 1318 to 1327 were delivered to East New York Depot for JFK Express, while 1328 to 1374 were also delivered to East New York Depot. 1375 to 1429 were delivered to Flatbush Depot, while 1430 to 1516 were delivered to Fresh Pond Depot. 1517 to 1534 were delivered to Flushing Depot, present-day Casey Stengel Depot, while 1535 to 1544 were delivered to Jamaica Depot. 1545 to 1569 were delivered to Queens Village Depot, while 1570 to 1608 were delivered to 126th Street Depot. 1609 to 1634 were delivered to Yukon Depot, while last but not least, 1635 to 1658 were delivered to Queens Village Depot, then were later sent to Flatbush Depot later on.
Shit!
That's a long-ass list. As for the 2200 series RTSs, well, let's just say that they were delivered between the depots between the Bronx and Upper Manhattan, then were later transferred elsewhere towards the very ends of their lives. By the way, Unit 2201 was the first RTS to be delivered, and 1201 was the second. Also, one thing you may notice is the suffix PA before the fleet numbers. For example, PA 1544. That's because the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, otherwise known as PANYNJ, helped the MTA to finance the purchase of many of these GMC RTSs from 1981 to 1984. These were the first units to feature the blue and white paint scheme with the medium blue belt, circular M logos, and depot logos, which is a paint scheme that's still used to this day, with some slight modification. The fleet consisted of two models. For example, 1,119 units were T8W 204 RTSs, and those signified the use of the Detroit Diesel 6V71 engine, which sounds like this. 1,159 units were T8J204 RTSs, and those signified the use of the Detroit Diesel 6V92 engine, which sounds like this. The new RTS-04s were equipped with push-type rear doors, rear wheelchair lifts, front kneeling suspension, two-way radio equipment, and the orange hoodlum lights, along with the new first-generation electronic flip-dot signs on the front and side destination signs. The rear destination sign didn't become a feature until the later GMC RTSs were delivered. Unfortunately, these RTSs came with some defects. For example, the rear doors were manual and were really hard to open. The windows were all steel beam windows and were not able to be opened at all, and they were also really tinted. And most of these RTSs weren't really known for their speed and were a bit underpowered. But still, improvements came around later on. I personally remember riding these particular RTSs a lot through my early childhood, and I'll always remember the cool cream-colored interiors and the way they smoked. Man, these RTSs were also known for being very smoky. For example, when they would pull away from a bus stop, they would leave a big-ass cloud of black smoke to the point where at nighttime, you couldn't see the damn bus stop. And I'll also remember how low they used to kneel to the ground, as seen in this photo of 1575. The RTS quickly became the mainstay of the New York City Transit and MaBSTOA bus fleet, eventually replacing the ill-fated Grumman 870s by 1984, even though I and a lot of us still like those, and all the GM and flexible new looks by 1995. They also helped make New York City Transit a wheelchair-accessible and ADA-compliant bus fleet, like how we know it today.
But wait! There's more!
In 1996, 110 1981 GMC RTSs were remanufactured either in-house at 207th Street or by Midwest bus rebuilders and were renumbered in the 7000 series. 7000 to 7049 were remanufactured here at New York City Transit, while 7500 to 7559 remanufactured at Midwest. And let me tell you, those remanufactured RTSs were the bomb. I mean, seriously. They were delivered with black trimming and Alcoa rims along with newer flip-dot signs, even though later on they got repainted and had the Alcoa rims removed. But these RTSs sounded amazing. Sure, they signified the use of the Detroit Diesel 6V92 engine, but these had a really distinct bassy sound along with a really fast and distinct acceleration. Here it is. Woo! Shit! I remember getting chills every time when I heard these. It is sad to say that these RTSs are retired, but luckily 1201 has been preserved in the museum fleet, even though 2201 was the very first RTS to be delivered ever. But no matter what, as for these RTSs, they're gone, but will always be remembered as New York City Transit's first RTSs. So with that being said, this is Kal-El Johnson. Thanks for watching. And long live the RTS!